Hi guys, welcome back. So what I'm going to do today is just film a very short explanation for you about the education in Elizabethan England to kind of work on and follow up that video I filmed on culture. So as I previously mentioned, the Renaissance encouraged the spread of learning and literacy, and Sir Thomas More estimated that in 1533, 60% of the population was literate, so could read. Now, this is largely due to the work of guild schools and church and monastic schools, which provided a basic education for all. Now, the rising class of urban-based merchants and tradesmen, rural yeomen and richer peasants were all becoming more proactive in seeking education as they saw the benefit in the new mercantile world. So with the evolution of business and complexity of international trading markets, it becomes more and more important for these men to understand legal complications, terms and conditions, money and finances, and it means they start to demand higher levels of education. This therefore shows demand, which led to the creation of schools to cater for this demand. Therefore, what we see over Elizabeth's reign is 160 new grammar schools were established. Now, some of these were created and paid for by noblemen such as Walter Devereux, the great-grandfather of Robert, Elizabeth's favourite. He established a school in Carmarthen, which is in southwest Wales. According to historian John Pound, in 1600, literacy rates in the yeoman class were, for example, in Durham, had risen from 63% in 1560 to 77% by 1600. In East Anglia, a little bit lower, but still a significant increase from 45% to 68% by 1600. This shows that literacy rates are improving at the same time as we're seeing economic growth. The wealthier merchant and yeoman classes showed greater awareness of and interest in politics, government, and local office. We also see, if you remember, a growing number of merchants returning to Parliament, having been out in the world, which created what Neil, the historian, termed the independent Puritan choir, who were able to argue against Elizabeth and were not so easily controlled by her or by Cecil. So a group of men who were learned in law and had a good education, who were able to come back from making lots of money from being a merchant and joined Parliament, elected to these new constituencies that popped up during Elizabeth's time in power, and were then able to exercise some independence within Parliament and creating that opposition group that Neil speaks about. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about is the development of the universities. So, greater number of students were now attending Oxford and Cambridge University. For the first time, sons of the nobility are now sent to university for a more rounded education rather than being tutored at home. So, Sir John Perrot, for example, had been apprenticed in the old style by William Paulet. However, he sent his two sons to Oxford University. It was now seen that university education was superior to the more traditional practice of apprenticeships and tutored education within the household. So we can definitely see education kind of growing in popularity and there being more demand from it from a wider range of society at this time.